A philosophy professor stood before his class with some items on the table in front of him. I'm not the philosophy professor, I'm just giving you a scenario. When the class began, wordlessly he picked up a very large and empty mayonnaise jar and proceeded to fill it with rocks about 2 inches in diameter. Visualize? Yeah. Empty mayonnaise bottle, got 2 inches of rocks, and he's filling it. Once it got full, he then asked the students if the jar was full. Placed it, all of them in there. No more could fit in. He asked them, is the jar full? They agreed. So the professor then picked up a box of pebbles, smaller ones, and poured them into the jar because there were big spaces. He shook the jar lightly. The pebbles, of course, rolled into the open areas between the rocks. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They agreed. The professor picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. Of course, the sand filled up everything else. He then asked them once more if the jar was full. The students responded unanimously, yes, the jar is now full. Now, said the professor, I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. The rocks are the important things. Your family, your wife, your health, your children, and your faith. Things that if everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, your house, your car. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put the sand into the jar first, we continue. There is no room for the pebbles or the rocks. The same goes for your life. If you spend all your time and energy on small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are important to you. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your iman. Believe me, brothers and sisters, there are many out there who steal and take away your iman. You don't even know. If anybody takes you away from the remembrance of Muhammadur Rasulullah, I warn you, because I will stand against you on the day of Qiyamah. Then I told my Jama'ah that the most important thing in your life after Allah is Muhammadur Rasulullah. If anybody stops you from praising Muhammadur Rasulullah, then he is not on the path of Allah and the angels. He is on the path of shaitan. Because shaitan stops people from praising Muhammadur Rasulullah. Because that is your link to Allah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Your faith. Remember, compromise on anything, not your faith. Anything else compromise, I'll agree. But not your iman. You can't compromise on Muhammadur Rasulullah. Because he is Allah's beloved. You didn't make him Allah's beloved. Allah made him his beloved. Allah honored him. Allah gave him so much. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا. I have praised him and made him great. Remember, pay attention to the things that are critical to your iman and happiness. Always remember the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never forget the favors of Allah. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the favors of your Lord can you deny? Day in and day out, Allah showers us with favors. Believe me, we are not even good enough to receive them. It is Allah's mercy on us that He pours on us daily new favors, favors upon favors. As Allah's generosity to you never stops, you should increase your generosity to Allah and His creatures. How can you do this? How can this be done? It can be done by doing huququl ibad, doing for fellow human beings, by supporting Islamic centers, poor families, educational programs, etc. Remember, play with your children, love your children, raise them in Islam. If you don't teach your children Islam, the people out there, the community, the environment, their friends, their peers are going to take them away from you. And believe me, I've seen cases you never get them back. They are gone, they are lost. You suffer the consequences, they also suffer. But the blame more is on you. You never gave them Islam. Give them good Islam when they're young. If in the event they get lost, may Allah protect them. But if they do get lost, there is something to come back. I used to do this. I used to pray with my parents. I used to fast in the month of Ramadan. I used to read Quran. There's something to come back. If there's nothing to come back, what are they going to come back to? That is the life they will only know. I beg you, give your children good Islam. It is a shame. We have a madrasa running. We give good education. We make children love Allah and His Rasul. The response for the community is very poor. I'm doing my duty to Allah. I'm serving. You don't take the opportunity, you're going to answer for it on the day of Qiyamah. Be kind and just to your wife. Be kind and just to them. Because on the day of Qiyamah, they will also complain to Allah if you were not just and kind to them. There will always be time for work. Many complaints I get when I get counseling cases. My husband got no time for me. He's all day at work. When he comes back, he's busy with everything else. I got no time. Where's the love? Where's the affection? What is marriage all about? It is said that people get married, they don't know the responsibility of marriage. Remember, your partners are going to go against you on the day of Qiyamah. Don't think it's just love, love, love. That day they're going to demand justice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And justice is a very difficult thing, brothers and sisters. Think seriously. Be kind to them. They read the life of Muhammadur Rasulullah and see how he treated his wives. He was the best husband. Take care of the rocks first, brothers and sisters. The things that really matter in life. Set your priorities. The rest is just said. May the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the hidayah that we will follow these words, inshallah. May the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open our hearts to be just and fair. May the Almighty Allah keep our iman safe in this difficult times. May the Almighty Allah guide us and our children on the path of Ihdina Sirat. May we live in Islam and may we die in Islam. And Ya Allah, when the time of death comes, give us the death with the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.